Welcome back. We are firing up the Sermon Rewind.
That's right. We're taking you right back into the pew with us. We literally just got back from the Sunday service at Calvary Charlottetown.
Yeah, this was the January 25th service, and my brain is still kind of buzzing.
Same here. And my feet are finally starting to thaw out.
Can we just talk about that for a second? I mean, it's Charlottetown in January. You expect cold, but this was something else.
It was bitter, like the kind of cold that just hurts your face when you walk outside. The guy in front of me was wearing, I think, 4 layers.
I was jealous.
Yeah.
Seriously. But then, and this is what I love about that place, the worship starts.
Mm-hmm.
The team kicks off with Our God is a Strong City, and the whole feeling in the room, it shifts.
It really does. It went from everyone just sort of huddled together for warmth to this really vibrant collective energy.
Yeah. There's something about that song in particular, that sense of a fortress, a safe place.
Which, when you think about what Pastor Matthew was about to preach on, it was the perfect setup.
Totally. Okay, so let's shift gears. The announcements end, and Pastor Matthew gets up.
And he opens with a quote I was not expecting.
Sun Tzu, The Art of War.
I know, right?
If you know the enemy and you know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles.
It's just a brilliant hook, because you immediately stop thinking about church as this, like, passive, peaceful thing.
Right. Like a spa day for your soul.
Exactly. And his point was, no, we're in a battle, a spiritual battle. If you're spiritually alive, you have a target on your back.
It's a sobering thought for a Sunday morning.
It is. But the whole sermon was about how you need a battle plan. And the plan most of us use, what he called white-knuckle willpower. It just doesn't work.
Oh, I felt that. Just gritting your teeth and hoping for the best.
And it never works. So he takes us to James chapter 1, verses 12 through 18 to get, like, the actual intel.
So let's dig into that. He started by drawing this really, really important line between 2 words we use all the time: trials and temptations.
This is huge. If you get this wrong, the rest of the chapter makes no sense.
So a trial, according to James 1.12, is a test of faith. Right. Think of it like refining gold. It's allowed by God, it's hard, but its purpose is to produce endurance, to prove your faith is real.
And if you pass the test, you get the crown of life. Which sounds pretty epic.
It's the real deal. But then in verse 13, he shifts. He says, "Let no one say when he is tempted, I am being tempted by God."
So trials test you for growth.
Yeah.
Temptations solicit you to do evil.
Exactly. 2 completely different things from 2 completely different sources.
I want to pause here because I can hear the skeptic in my head, or even just a friend who's really struggling.
Okay.
The question is, look, if God is sovereign, if he's in charge of everything, isn't he kind of responsible for the mess I'm in? Didn't he set up the board this way?
That's the classic question, right? It's
Yeah.
what the people James was writing to were basically saying. It's a setup.
Yeah, you dealt me this hand.
But the text itself answers that. Verse 17 calls God the Father of lights, in whom there is no shadow of turning.
What does that mean exactly? Shadow of turning.
It means he doesn't have a dark side. He's not playing mind games. He only gives good and perfect gifts. So their argument is a trial is a good gift for growth. A temptation is a corruption of a good thing.
So God isn't setting the traps.
No. He's the ally, not the saboteur. The enemy twists what God made good.
Okay, so that leads to the big question. If it's not God, where does temptation come from?
Verse 14. Each person is tempted when he is lured and enticed by his own desire. It's an inside job.
And to explain this, Pastor Matthew told this story about bass fishing in northern Ontario, that was.
Wow. It was kind of heartbreaking, actually.
It was. So he's on this boat, the water is crystal clear, and he sees this huge female bass just guarding her nest.
And this is the key. She's not hungry. She's in protective mom mode. She's doing her job.
Right. So they throw all the normal lures and bait at her. She's not interested. She's in her safe place, totally focused.
But then they change tactics. They just put a worm on a hook and they start agitating her.
Yeah, just dropping it in her face over and over and over.
Just poking the bear.
Until finally she snaps. Not to eat it, but just to get the annoyance to go away.
And bam! She's hooked. She moved from safety to danger because she was provoked.
It's a perfect picture of those 2 words James uses. Lured and enticed.
Right. Lured is being drawn away from your place of safety, just like she left the nest.
And enticed is the bait itself, biting down on the thing that's going to destroy you.
So Satan doesn't have to force us. He just has to agitate our own desires until we willingly step out of our safe place, God's will, to grab the hook.
That concept of a safe place really stuck with me because it suggests the desire isn't the problem.
Exactly. And this gets into some really interesting psychology. There's this thing called the hot-cold empathy gap.
The what
A
now?
hot-cold empathy gap. It basically says that when you're in a cold, rational state like sitting in church, calm, you are terrible at predicting how you'll act in a hot state.
A hot state being like angry or hungry or agitated, like that bass.
Precisely. Your rational brain, your prefrontal cortex, it just kind of shuts down. And you make bad decisions. You bite the hook.
Sunday morning me thinks he's a lot stronger than Saturday night me actually is.
We all do. And Satan knows that. He just needs to turn up the heat.
Which brings us to what I thought was the most fascinating part of the sermon, the hijack concept.
Yes. This is so important. The idea that our base urges, lust, pride, even aggression, they aren't inherently evil.
Right. God made them. He gave us those instincts for a reason.
For survival, for flourishing. But Satan's entire strategy is to hijack them, to take a God-given impulse and redirect it toward destruction.
He used two big examples, sex and aggression. Let's start with
Hang on.
sex.
Okay, so the biblical design, as Pastor Matthew laid it out, is that sex is a good gift from God. It has context, a safe place, marriage between one man and one woman for life.
And the hijack.
The hijack is luring us outside of that safe place with a cheap alternative. It plays on a real God-given desire, but it leads you to a hook.
The second one, aggression, was really interesting to me. I don't usually think of anger as a good instinct.
Most of us don't.
Mhm.
But God designed us for righteous indignation. We're supposed to hate injustice. We're supposed to want to protect the innocent. That's the design.
Be angry, but do not sin.
There it is. But the hijack is when we turn that power against our spouse or our kids or the guy who cut us off in traffic. Satan takes a weapon designed for our defense and gets us to wound ourselves with it.
So I can hear the skeptic again. See, Christianity is all about repression. You just think natural human desires are bad.
It's the standard critique. Yeah, stop having fun.
But the way Pastor Matthew countered this with the idea of weight versus cheapness was, it was brilliant.
It's such a great metaphor for our time. We live in an age of spiritual fast fashion.
We want it cheap, we want it now, and we don't care if it falls apart tomorrow.
Exactly. So he said God's designs, real intimacy, real justice, they have weight, they have substance. Think of a high-quality wool coat.
It's heavy, it requires care, it has boundaries.
Yes. But Satan's alternatives, the hijacks, are cheap. They're weightless. They're like polyester. An affair is lighter than the covenant of marriage. A burst of road rage is easier than the hard work of justice.
But it tears the first time you wash it.
And it leaves you colder than you were before. So it's not about repressing desire. It's about refusing to trade a diamond for a piece of glass because the glass is lighter to carry. It's about quality control for your soul.
Quality control for your soul. I'm writing that down. Okay, so this is all great theory. We know the enemy, we know ourselves. But what do we do?
Right, the so what? Because when you're that base and the worm is in your face, you need a plan, not a theory.
And Pastor Matthew was clear. Willpower is not a plan. It will fail.
It fails every time because of that hot-cold gap. You can't think clearly in the heat of the moment, so the strategy has to be pre-decision.
Deciding now what you will do then.
You make the choice while you're in a cold state, so you don't have to try and make it in a hot state.
He gave a couple of really practical, vulnerable examples.
He did. For guys struggling with lust, the pre-decision was, the moment I struggle, I will tell my spouse.
Which, I gotta say, sounds terrifying. The instinct is to hide that, right?
Of course it is. But secrecy is the environment where sin thrives. Bringing it into the light, telling your ally, it breaks the power.
He applied it to anger, too. Deciding right now that when your brother does that one annoying thing, he always does.
We all have that person and that thing.
We do. The pre-decision isn't to snap back. It's, I will stay silent and pray for 1 minute.
It's simple, but it's a protocol. It bypasses the emotional reaction because you've already decided what you're going to do.
And this all ties back to what he called the ally concept.
Rely on your ally. That's God, first and foremost, but it's also the church. We're not supposed to fight these battles alone in the dark.
You know, he said something that I circled in my notes. Don't let failure drive you to despair. Let it drive you to prayer.
That's the whole gospel right there, isn't it? Because you're going to fail. The pre-decision won't always work.
The, I already ate one cookie, might as well eat the whole box mindset.
Exactly. Satan wants your failure to make you quit. God wants your failure to make you look up.
It was such a message of hope, not shame. It was, here's your battle plan.
Absolutely. So to wrap it up, know the enemy. He's a hijacker. Know yourself. Your desires can be hijacked.
And know your God, he gives good gifts.
And don't forget the promise from the very beginning, the crown of life. There's a reward, a trophy for enduring.
It's not just about avoiding the bad, it's about gaining the best.
Now, before we sign off, there was one final image from the sermon that was, honestly, it was pretty disturbing, but in a necessary way.
The sin baby.
The sin baby is right there in James 1, verse 15.
Then desire, when it has conceived, gives birth to sin.
It's biological language, conception, birth.
And then it says, and sin, when it is full grown, brings forth death.
So here's the provocative thought to leave you with. What baby are you nursing right now? What little desire, what little grudge, what secret habit seems small and harmless?
Because those babies don't stay babies. They grow up. And when sin grows up, it becomes a strong man in your life. And its name is death.
So the question for all of us this week is,
Right.
what do you need to stop feeding before it gets too big to control?
That's the work. Kill the monster while it's small.
On that cheerful but very vital note, we're going to wrap up this Sermon Rewind.
We hope you got as much out of this as we did. And hey, if you're local, check out that relationships event.
And bring a coat for the coat drive.
Yes, help build that strong city.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.